Hi everybody, this is Kristen from Pink Toes and Power Tools, and today I'm going to show you how I went about routering out the back of this wood to make a drawer front. So the first thing, you should always be as safe as you can with a router. First thing you should always know about a router is that the blade, you should be moving against the blade, so the blade's spinning this way. You should be feeding your wood always this way, because if you feed it with the blade, it's just going to propel it forward. This table saw was a hand-me-down, or a router table was a hand-me-down. I was lucky enough to get, and it actually reminds me every time I come in here, it says to feed it this way. Another tip that I had to use was the wood was dragging on here. And I was having a hard time sliding it through here, so I used a little bit of this turtle wax I had inside, and I put it on both my nice and fancy router table vents, and I also put it right here and all around the blade, so not on the blade but all around it, so that it provided a more slick surface so that the wood would just feed through more easy. I don't think it's very safe if you're sitting there trying to push it through the whole time. Okay, I'm also going to show you why it is necessary for us to have marks here. When you make a table or a drawer front, I'm having all sorts of problems talking today. One piece right here can go, you can router the entire edge of it, just like this one right here. It's routered all the way up both sides because it's going to be encased by your two rails here. If you did it on the rail end, if you routered this piece all the way up here, on the edge, you'd have a cutout right there, just like this is, and it would be visible and not very pretty. So what I've done is, and the reason you router it out is that the back, the 1/4 inch plywood back, can be even with your front recessed in there so that it is nice and flat when you go to install it on your drawer. So I had to play around with these pieces right here. I've got one routed out over here. In order to not cut all the way through, I made marks here where I start the cut, and I push it all the way through, and then I stop the cut here and drag it back out, and then you have not cut all the way through it that way. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I safely do this. You don't want your fingers anywhere near this. This is only a 1x2. It's only, your fingers are only 1.5 inches from the blade. So I constructed a little push stick, I don't know, from scrap. And I also have the Kreg push stick too. Goes on the back there, hooks in, and then you can just push it up. It also has a nice magnet on the side where I can quickly get it. Okay, so I marked the backs. I've already looked over this board, and just to see what's going to be the prettiest edge or any imperfections I want to router out. It's a chance to do that. So this is the side I'm going to do. This too. Okay, eye protection, ear protection. there, we got it routed out. After I make my cuts, I always double check to make sure that it got to the correct depth. This one would probably use another pass. Sometimes if you just run it through, it doesn't even sound like it's taken much off, but it'll take off just a little bit. If there's any variation in the height of the board while it's running through here, it'll go with the board. That's kind of why you're using the push stick. You're using pressure this way and pressure down for any variances in the wood to make sure that you're getting exactly the depth and the width of the cut that you are wanting for your project. Another thing you got to be careful about right here is that when you're going to be putting the pocket hole in, you don't want to you want to cut away the least amount that you can here, so that your pocket hole still got a good grip and lots of wood around it. And the reason you have to go far enough. Okay, so the reason that you need to go far enough with the router this way is that you got to get enough clearance for this corner right here to be able to lay flat. If this were back a little bit further, it would be, you'd either have to chisel that out or cut off your corner here. It's just easier to go a little bit further. I hope that helps you safely and accurately make drawer fronts with your Kreg jig and a router table.